What's going on, YouTube? It's your bruh Dirty. Sitting out chilling on another beautiful sunny afternoon here in Leon, Nicaragua. What brings me here today is actually just to chat about a few things I've been having discussion with a lot of my friends, fraternity brothers still in the U.S. And what's happening is, a lot of people, I guess see what's going on in the States and kind of, putting together, I guess, an exit strategy, because, hey, you never know. Yeah, you never know. I talk to my kids just about every day about, being prepared, just understanding what's happening. But one of the concerns or one of the issues or one of the questions I get or have been getting lately is, you know, how do I go about planning, say, exiting, the country, leaving the U.S., and it doesn't matter if you're looking at coming to Central America or going over to Africa or, Mexico, South America, whatever. I mean, there's tons of places. I mean, you can look at YouTube and, you see brothers all over the place, from the DR to Thailand to a whole bunch of different places, setting up shop and doing well. And so after thinking about it, I was like, let me go ahead and chat about it for a minute, because I'm starting to post stuff to YouTube sort of as an outlet, my way of journaling, my way of just, start having kind of daily discussions because, you know, now I'm at 60 years old. It's like, hey, I get up, have my coffee, go to the gym, yada, 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 come home, do whatever little errands I need to do. And then, hey, I'm shutting it down. I'm chilling. I've earned that damn right. But anyway, so thinking about that, and y'all got to forgive me, my ADHD. I'm all over the place, but I usually circle back. So my fellow ADHDers out there, you get me. But anyway, so that question of preparing or how did I make the decision or how did I go about that transition, because I left the U.S. in 2018, and so I was abroad during the whole pandemic. But that's a whole nother episode there, no nother discussion. But anyway, so it really just boils down to choice. You either have to say this is something I want to do, or this is something I'm thinking about doing. And then you have two choices. You either do it or you don't. And the issue with that is that if you make the choice to do it, then you just live with that choice and you just do it. You make the best of it. There's been tons of people who have moved away, lasted 6 months, lasted 1 year, and was like, yeah, I can't do this. I'm going back to whatever country I'm from, be it the U.S., and I primarily speak about the U.S. because, that's where the hell I'm from. But yeah, I've met people from Canada, Europe, Australia, and, they'll come and some last 6 months, some last a year, 2 years, and then they'll circle back, and like, yeah, I miss home, or for whatever reason, it could be health reasons, family reasons, financial reasons. But it ultimately comes down to you have to make that choice. And the thing and there will never be a right time to make the decision to say, okay, when I get, X amount of dollars in the bank, or, when the kids are here or when this is done. It's just like having a baby. There is never a perfect time. You can plan and do everything you want, and there's still going to be a learning curve. There's still going to be some things you hadn't thought about that now all of a sudden you have to deal with. And that's part of it. It's sometimes you have to run before you walk. And it's just an analogy where, you know, if you plan to map out everything you're going to do step by step, and you get a hiccup in one of those steps, that's when most people freeze and be like, "Oh, that's a sign. I'm not doing it. Yep, I'm turning around. Yeah, I knew that was a bad idea." And then they back out. And again, there's going to always be unforeseen stuff that's going to happen. Over the course, like I say, of me making these videos and journaling, I'll talk about some of the issues that I had to deal with, and some of the missteps along the way. I felt like I calculated, pretty much. But again, I made the conscious decision around, I want to say about 2016 is when I was like, yeah, I say I'm done. I need a break from the U.S. And so then I spent, the next couple of years, planning my exit strategy, not knowing if it was going to be 2018, 19, 20, who knows? I just knew that within the next couple of years, from 2016 on, I was planning on being out of the country. And it just so happened, 2018, it was like, yep, that's it. I'm at the point now where I'm ready to go. I'm going to make this happen. And I just bounced. And sometimes that's what you just have to do. Because, again, like I said, if you try and make sure you have everything done, you'll never do it because it'll become paralysis of analysis because you're going to overanalyze everything, and if you don't have the right mindset, to say, hey, I'm going to give this a solid year. I'm going to give this 2 years, or whatever it is, you feel comfortable with. Just saying, hey, I'm going to give this an honest, full effort of relocating and submerging myself into the culture, into the people, into everything. Because if you don't, you're not going to pretty much laugh. Now is that for everybody? No, of course not. There's always outliers. But again, majority of people that don't last long are usually people who, one, haven't really fully committed to the idea, and two, people who looking for a reason, I would say, looking for an excuse, wanting wanting a reason to say, hey, I tried, but yeah, it wasn't for me. And that's fine, like, hey, at least you tried, because 90% of people are not going to even try. you know I've had discussion with family members, and they're like, "Oh man, yeah, I need to get out of here. I need to go. I need to change the scenery, change the pace. This is getting on my nerves. I'm retiring." And I'm like, "Okay, well, hey, if you want, you can come over here. I'll help you. Get situated, set up. Um, you know, take you around and show you what's what. Help you find a place to live. Help you plan your exit strategy. Whatever you need." And then that's when the paralysis sets in, because then they start overanalyzing. Well, how am I gonna get around? I said, well, the bus system is great. I took the bus system for like 2 years before I bought my truck. I say, so, it's cheap and affordable. I mean, it's like 20 cents, 30 cents. You can get pretty much anywhere you want to get around the city. Um, so I'm like, don't use that excuse. Well, how's the healthcare system? I said, well, it's actually one of the better systems that you'll find, and it's totally free. So, but if you want, hey, you pay for some private health insurance. I'm not gonna guarantee you it's gonna get you a whole lot better service, because the things I've heard about the private hospitals is that, you know, usually you have to wait longer than you would if you went to a public hospital. And most of the doctors that work in the private hospital also work in some of the public hospitals and stuff too, or have their own clinics and stuff like that. And, a lot of the public doctors, or even some of the private doctors, they make house calls. So I said, but hey, if it's going to make you feel comfortable, again, you can get, some international, health coverage, but you're going to be hit those international costs back in the U.S. just as well. So, but again, this is when people are overanalyzing everything. And that's when the paralysis sets in, because now you're afraid, and it's okay to be afraid. But again, sometimes you got to run before you walk. And does that lead to the possibility of you falling down? Possibly. Does it lead to the possibility of you running into something? Oh, absolutely. I say, but now, the faster you fall down, the faster you run into something, the faster you learn how not to do that again. But if you sit there and now you're trying to script out every little thing, like, okay, first I need to pull myself up. Second, I need to put one foot forward, then make sure I'm balanced. Second foot. While you going through that whole process, you could have started running, and you would have been a year ahead of where you would have been if you started walking first, and then like, okay, I done perfected walking, now let me run. No, so that's my thing. Sometimes you just got to hit the ground running, and hey, deal with the obstacles as they come. That's, how me and my brothers, that's how we were taught. My mom was one of those no nonsense mom. She had all boys, and she raised us to be self-sufficient from a young age. It's like, yeah, you're going to be able to take care of yourself. You're going to be man. So, like, okay, got it. And she was very tough, But that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole couch story right there. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm talking and I'm listening, and like I said, it's multiple people, that's been hitting me up, about, hey, I heard you live in Central America. How is it? And like I say, I've lived, from Panama to Costa Rica to here. I've visited just about every country in Central America, for extended periods of time. But the longest I've lived was like 3 years in Costa Rica and going on 3 years here in Nicaragua. And there's a vast difference between every country. But for the most part, it's really just the economic aspect of it, the financial aspect of it. There's a lot of other nuances, but again, you don't want to get bogged down with the whole lot of that. And that's the other thing. They're like, well, how do you do banking? Do you open an account? I was like, yeah, I eventually opened a banking account here. But that was after, I got residency and all this other stuff. I said, but they have tons of ATMs here, and all their systems here are backed by U.S. banks as well. So the ATM fees, I think the most I paid was like $4 and something. But they have some ATMs here that doesn't charge anything as long as you're using a Visa debit card. So there's workarounds to all that. That's why I say, the things you figure out, or you start talking to people. Um, there's tons of WhatsApp. I think pretty much a lot of people know about what WhatsApp is now. I've known about WhatsApp, man, since 20 maybe 13, because I used to teach at a private school over in St. Pete, and we had a vast number of international students. And I remember, looking at them texting one day, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" It was like, "Oh, it's an app called WhatsApp. Yeah, we use it instead of, But I was like, "Oh, man, let me download it." So yeah, so I've been using playing with it since about 2013, 14, somewhere in that area. But anyway, but still, they got a lot of WhatsApp groups. They got a lot of Facebook groups. That's for my, 60 or over 50 crew. But yeah, they got some Facebook groups called expats, which, that's funny how a lot of people consider themselves expats, but then they want to consider them immigrants in the U.S. Like, yeah, until you get your residency or your green card here, yeah, you pretty much an immigrant as well. You just have a visa to come in and stay for 30, 90, 180, whatever country they're allowing, and you have to leave and come back. But anyway, but that's not that bad either. The reason why I sort of chose Central America is because, like I said, I got kids in the U.S. And at this point, they were like, finishing high school. They were in college, and I didn't want to be too far away. And flight from here, 2.5 hours to Fort Lauderdale. Spirit is kind of going through their thing right now, but before that, definitely before the pandemic, man, I was getting round trip tickets for like $240. Now they're a little more, they're about $400 to $500 round, $500 round trip. Still ain't bad, especially if you ain't got to go home, but maybe every 6 months, what like that. So it just depends. But I was just waving at one of the realtors that helped us out when we first came here. It like might have another group looking at renting a house over here. I can't tell if they're from the U.S. or from Canada. Like they got about 4 kids. Look like ranging from 2, 4, 6, and 8. Cool. But again, that's what I'm saying. There are people that are making the decision, to do it, and not to sidetrack, but it's still sort of on the same direction. That's one of the things that I love about my daughters, because they're like 22 and 26 right now. And they're college graduates. One's law school graduate, other one's studying now, looking at getting into med school. But one of the things that I know about these Gen Zs, I'm right at the cut. I'm on the last year of the baby boomers, so I'm baby boomer, Gen X, whatever you want to consider that. But one of the things that I love about these Gen Zs is that they don't have as much fear. I think a lot of it with us, and like again, I'm talking like I'm 60, so we're talking about the over 50 crew. We were molded, I would say, for lack of a damn other term, but yeah, we were molded to, hey, you know go to school, go to college, get a job, work at that job for 30, 40 years and get a pension and then get your Social Security and then your ass dead by 67. You know? It's like, what the hell is that? You had 6 years, 5 years to maybe damn do something, and at that point you're too damn tired because you've been working all your damn life for 40 years and it's like, what the fuck? You know? You don't want to do a damn thing. You want to sit your ass down. So these Gen Zs, and I see them all the time here because here in Nicaragua, there's a lot of backpackers come through. Most of them coming out of Europe, but it's a shitload of damn backpackers that come through here. And these are young kids, I mean, they look like they're all in their early to mid 20s, And sometimes it's, just two girls. Sometimes it's just, a group of girls. Sometimes it's just one. But they don't have a fear of going and checking out the damn unknown, And they have this mindset that, like, yeah, that whole career thing, yeah, I get to that shit later. I kind of want to explore the world where I can go and hike mumble tumble. I can go and sleep out in the damn tent because I ain't got to worry about, a job, or I ain't got to worry about, trying to raise some damn kids and stuff like that. And I don't mean damn kids like that. I mean, I love my kids, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying. If you don't have to worry about them, you got other options. But hey, I wouldn't change it for the world. But anyway, what I'm getting at is these guys have no problem saying, you know what? I'm going to travel the world, do all the crazy shit while I'm in my 20s and 30s. And maybe about 35, hey, I look at settling down, get a family, then work, for 20, 30 years and then retire. And at that point, it's like, hey, I've done that. Been there, saw that, done that. So now I can sit down and relax and rest. And when I was teaching, a lot of parents didn't like me kind of throwing that out there to their students. But mind you, I was a special ed teacher for some years. Then I taught gifted middle school, gifted Asperger, and then I taught high school art for 5 years. And then when I moved to, Costa Rica, I taught high school, AP courses, history, and stuff like that. And so, but one of the things I would do as a teacher, I kept it real. I didn't sugarcoat things, even with the parents, and I will explain to them, like saying, hey, this education system isn't designed for the outcome that you're looking for. It's not. So teach your kids that there's other opportunities. College is phenomenal. Like I say, all three of my kids are college graduates. But had one of them said, nah, college ain't for me. I just, ain't about that life. I want to be an electrician. I want to be a plumber. I want to go to the military. I'm a vet. So I would support them whatever endeavor they wanted. But we did instill in them that, knowledge, that, education is the key to salvation. But I'm not talking about that K through 12. That K through 12, that's just a means that you just have to get through. And I would explain that to them, like saying, hey, you don't have to follow the same path that we followed, There's other ways to get to the finish line. We were taught that it's this way. You got to do this, and this, and then you get to the promised land. But then your ass too old to do any goddamn thing. So then it's like, yeah, okay. So don't follow that. Hey, flip the script. Reverse that whole process. So instead of working from, say, you know, 25 to 65, and then retiring to try and enjoy, say, 10 years, hey, flip the script. Why don't you enjoy your first 20 years? So from, 20, 25 to 35 to 40, enjoy your life. Then go out and work. And, you still can retire at 65, 70. And at that point, like I say, you've enjoyed your life. So now it's not like, oh, what do I do now? Hey, sit your ass down. Go fishing, play golf, bowl, whatever you want to do. Until the grandkids come in. And then, then you can, corrupt their lives. But anyway, I digress. I don't have any grandkids just yet. And hey, I'm not even rushing my kids. I'm like, hey, do you. Live your life. Don't go out there trying to rush to have a family for my sake. No, not at all. But to circle back to everything, everybody's different. I do know this. Some people are not going to be able to pull that trigger. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care how much recon they do in a particular area, how many people they talk to, how many times they visit. It just doesn't matter. Some people are just not going to be able to do it. Just be like, yeah, I think I'm going to stay here in my comfort zone and I'm good. And that's fine. That's fine. But all I'm saying is that I think if you do move, relocate, take part in this diaspora, I think you have a better appreciation not only for yourself but for other people as well. That was one of the things that whenever we traveled, and my kids have been all over this world, the one thing we always strive to do was make sure that we took them out of the touristy areas so they could see the country for what it really and truly is, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, so that they would have an just be like, oh, the U.S. Like, yeah, the U.S. we're not great in everything, And usually the people who trumpet most of this stuff hadn't traveled or been anywhere else. They've only, shouting what they've been told to shout. But if you go and you visit some of these other countries, you'll see that there's a lot of rich culture there. That's one of the things I love about this country, and I've been to over 30-some countries. But the one thing I love about this country is that the people here don't make a lot of money, but they are, and I mean genuinely happy. They don't have a lot, but they're not sitting and depressed about not having a lot. Would they want to experience going to a different country or being able to live in a nice, beautiful house with, oh, of course, who wouldn't? But they're not sitting there stressing about it their whole day and their whole life about, man, oh, if I only had this type of car, or if I only had this type of house, or if I only had, if I only made this much money. No, as long as they make enough money to sustain a healthy lifestyle, no, they're happy. And I can honestly say that's the one thing I definitely saw a difference in between Costa Rica. Costa Rica, they were pretty stressed out a lot about money. They almost have a U.S. mentality, and I'll do a video about Costa Rica and that whole mindset over there. they doing let's just say Costa Rica's establishment, and when I say establishment, I mean the government. They're doing a big mind fuck on them over there as well, just like the U.S. is doing to a lot of people over there. They're doing a whole lot of divide and conquer. The us against them. The rich against the poor. You know, so. But anyway, but the main thing of this video was really to talk about making that decision, making that choice. And not getting paralyzed based on all the unforeseen parameters. Because there's going to always be unforeseen parameters. Stuff you're going to have to deal with. Stuff you're going to have to work out and figure out as you go. But that's a part of the learning process. That's the beauty of it that I love. Can sometimes it be frustrating? Absolutely. But once you figure it out, that what makes it that much better, that much sweeter. When let's just say Spanish, that's another one of the big, kind of hang-ups. We're like, oh, I don't know the language. Okay, you learn it. Shit, it's that damn simple. You just learn the damn language. And you ain't gonna learn it by doing damn Duolingo. Yeah, you'll learn some words. Yeah, which is helpful. But you got to talk to people. And that's the beauty about it. You just have to kind of talk to people. And no, I'm not one of those outgoing, bubbly, smiling, persons. But I will talk to people. Especially if I need to know something, it's the one thing I always told my damn students, hey, don't ever be afraid to ask why. You ain't got to be disrespectful with it, but hey, question shit. Ask why. Like, well, why is it that damn way? You don't have to just accept it because that's what they were taught. No, hey, why the hell I got to do it that way? And that's my point. Hey, you don't have to listen to all these other talking heads explaining like, oh, this is the right way to do X, to relocate, and buy my subscription, and I'll help. And there's tons of free information out there. Tons of free information. I will say the first thing you should do is, once you narrow it down to, let's say, 2 places, no more than 3 places that you really would consider living in, visit those places. And I don't mean like vacation, because going on vacation somewhere and living somewhere is completely different. Completely different. Like I say, I've lived in a lot of places and I've vacationed a lot of places. They're completely different. Trust me. So you need, and what I mean by that is that, if you can, at a minimum, try to stay somewhere for about 30 days. Because that will give you a real indication of, how things are, how things operate. But again, yeah, talk to people, listen, and see, what areas that interest you. Because, there's some people want to live in, quote, an expat community where there's tons of people with like mind and like ideas. And I'm like, that's the fucking reason I left the U.S. Because I don't want to be around all these people with like minds and like ideas, because that's part of the damn problem. I want to be somewhere where I'm with all the damn locals. I'm with the people, so I can deal with the customs, the courtesies, the food, just everything. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people that has the same ideology that all the people I'm getting the hell away from, have. But there's some people that want that, and there's some people that strive to, even when they relocate to another country, they try and recreate that little mini U.S. or mini wherever the hell they from. They try and create that same environment in another country, and I'm like, then why the hell did you leave if you want the same amenities? And you know what I mean by amenities. But anyway, so yeah, nah, just if you can go figure out, hey, do I want a mountainous area? Do I want the beach? Do I want hot weather or do I want cold weather? Yeah, so I mean, those are all the things you got to figure out. Do I want to live in the city? A big city or a small city? I mean, and that's why, like I said, if you come for 30 days, then you could spend a week in those different regions, exploring those options. And that's why I say, it doesn't have to be a decision you make like immediately, unless there's a reason or cause for you, like, I got to get the hell up out of here before I catch a case. But yeah, so that's part of it. That's part of it, and that's what I kind of wanted to rant about. Just don't get stuck overanalyzing every decision. Just make the damn decision and live with the consequences. If once you made the decision, because you don't know if it's going to be the right decision or the wrong decision. But to make no decision is definitely a wrong decision, in my perspective. But that's just me. So make the damn decision and then go with it. And if that don't pan out, fuck, make another damn decision. I'm like, it ain't that damn difficult. Just make another one. So anyway, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, or if you want me to really talk about something, at some point I'll get a little more personal about my life here, and the things that I do, my girlfriend, family, stuff like that. I can talk a lot, and she's a little camera shy, but I'm getting her. I'm getting her prepared, because she thinks she has to speak in English and she freaks out, and I'm like, but I had to learn Spanish, so. But I told her, like, no, you can speak in Spanish. It doesn't matter. It's just, hey, just do. But anyway, that's about it. Here, I'll give you a quick little pan of the neighborhood I'm in right now. This is the second neighborhood that I've moved to. I lived in another one. I used to call it the geriatric division. Nice area, modern condos and everything. But most of the people there own condos, but they didn't live there full time. Most of them actually live in the United States, and most of them have been there like their whole lives, and so they're building these condos because most of them are now getting close to that retirement age. So they are going to basically, and they're Nicaragüense. They were born here, and they pretty much, I guess, moved to the States, a long time ago, and they've been there 40 years or or more. And so now they're at the point now where they're like, hey, when we retire, we're moving back to our country, because the cost of living here is a whole lot damn cheaper than it is in the United States. Um, Here for just an quick example. Let me pan around here. These are some of the homes here, and like I say, they pretty much cookie cutter type style, but um, but they're all you know the one I'm in right now. This is a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house. You see, it has covered parking, nice patio. I got a nice little lanai in the back as well. Space for washer and dryer hookup, and I pay $380 a month. To probably, I would say, about 1,400 square feet, which is more than enough that we need. Definitely way more than enough that we need, but still, I mean, it's $380 a month. And, we pay $20 for, we got 24-hour security. There's 24-hour security on the gate, and then there's armed security guards that are stationed within the complex here. So yeah, it's well fortified, but that doesn't mean there's problems here, because we never had a problem here or even another place. It had 24-hour security, but she likes it because sometimes when I have to go back to the States and she's here alone, she likes the fact that it's security guards up front. But anyway, um, that's about all I have for today. Again, like I say, if you have something that you want me to investigate or answer, and I'll be dropping also some videos on the channel showing you Nicaragua, um, from San Juan, from the beaches to Leon to Managua to, hey, going out partying at night and all that stuff. Because yeah, although I'm 60, I don't get out there every day and weekend, but yeah, I like to go out and still hang out and party and whatnot. Have a little drinky drink. It's all good. But anyway, if there's something that you want me to touch on, or something you want me to address, or if you just have a question, hey, drop it in the comments. I have no problem. I have plenty of free time. And, hey, I'll sit out here and chop it up. Um, I will say this. This is new for me. Even though, I taught for 15 years, sitting and just talking to a camera is a little different for me. I'm used to engaging and talking to individuals. They're no important from middle school all the way to college students. It's a little different than just sitting here talking. I'm usually being up and moving about and whatnot. So I'm trying this out. I might have to just start walking around the neighborhood talking. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But anyway, again, y'all have a good evening wherever you are, and stop procrastinating. Start planning, because you never know. Especially the volatility that's going on right now in the U.S. You know, who knows? I mean, I try not to look at much news. I talk to my family members, and they fill me in until I say, okay, that's enough. I had my fill. So no more. So anyway, que le vaya bien. Chat with you guys later. Bye.